Let's talk about bulls, because these animals have been a fundamental part of the world for thousands of years. There are people who don't just raise them, but actually worship them. In some cultures, bulls are a symbol of power, heritage, and identity. They represent nations, traditions, and are known for many things. But what might surprise you is that there are many different types of bulls around the world, and some of them are so rare, it's like they're born only once in a generation. Curious to learn more? Good, because right now, we're diving into 20 bulls that are born only once in 1,000 years. But before we get started, make sure to subscribe to our channel and leave your like. Now, let's get started. Number 20. The American Brahmin. Let's kick things off with the American Brahmin, a breed that, well, looks very different from the bulls you might be used to seeing. And while the idea that these bulls are born once in 1,000 years isn't exactly true, wouldn't that be cool? Still, these are no ordinary bulls. They're massive, rugged, and bred to be just that. What makes them stand out even more is their origin. They're a hybrid of several other bull breeds from different parts of the world. As you're seeing on screen, some of their ancestors come from countries like Brazil and India. Thanks to that genetic mix, the American Brahmin is incredibly resilient. Heat? No problem. Parasites? They can handle it. It's that resilience that made them popular across the globe. In fact, Australia loves these bulls so much, they've become the most common cattle breed over there. And that brings up the obvious question. Is the meat any good? After all, you don't raise bulls like this just to look at them, right? Well, here's the twist. Yes, their meat is good, but not great. It doesn't quite match the premium quality of cattle breeds raised specifically for beef. But that doesn't mean the Brahmin is a failure, far from it. This bull was designed to thrive in tropical climates, where the heat would normally make cattle farming much harder. And that alone makes it incredibly valuable. So no, it won't be the best steak you've ever had, but it'll definitely get the job done. And given the sheer size of these animals, there's plenty of meat to go around. Number 19. Bodacious bull. Have you ever met someone who was truly bodacious? Someone so extraordinary that even the most legendary figures would seem dull next to them? The kind of person who walks into a room and instantly grabs everyone's attention? Well, now imagine transferring all that energy into a bull. And yes, there's a bull with that exact name, bodacious. The irony starts right there, because contrary to what the name might suggest, something between splendid, awesome, or even admirable, bodacious wasn't the type to impress you with charm. He sent rodeo riders flying through the air. Literally, he wasn't just strong, he was aggressive, unpredictable, and nearly impossible to ride. In the rodeo world, this bull became known as the most dangerous of all time. During his meteoric and incredibly violent career, he earned heavyweight titles. He was named Bull of the Year by the Professional Rodeo Cowboy Association in 1994 and 1995, and World Champion Bull by the Professional Bull Riders in 1995. In other words, the guy was a true horned legend. But with great power comes a lot of injuries. Bodacious became so famous for throwing off riders that he sent 2 of them straight to the hospital with serious injuries. His technique was brutal and effective. He would jump abruptly and whip his head backward, hitting the rider's face or chest with full force. It was like getting smashed by a sledgehammer made of pure muscle. Things got so intense that they decided to retire him before anyone else got seriously hurt. And honestly, it was the smartest decision. Rodeo is already a dangerous sport by nature, but riding a bull shouldn't be a guaranteed life or death gamble. And with Bodacious, it pretty much was. Even after retirement, he left a lasting legacy. He was inducted into the Rodeo Hall of Fame and is remembered as a force of nature that will never be forgotten. A true titan of the rodeo. And of course, a legend who lives up to his name, even if in a slightly more terrifying way than expected. Number 18. Rattan. When we talk about famous bulls, 2 major arenas usually come to mind. Rodeos, where bulls face off against humans in tests of strength and endurance, and of course, bullfighting, a spectacle as traditional as it is controversial. And in that second arena, few names carry as much weight as Rattan, the legendary Spanish bull who became synonymous with deadly danger. Unlike other bulls known for their massive size, Rattan was relatively small, but that didn't mean he was weak. Quite the opposite. He made up for his stature with agility, intelligence, and a ferocity that made even the most seasoned bullfighters hesitate before stepping into the ring. Bred specifically for fighting, Rayton entered the arena for the first time at just 1 year old and quickly became a nightmare for anyone daring to face him. During the first 5 years of his career, he built a terrifying reputation, injuring nearly every bullfighter who crossed his path. With long legs, a powerful head, and an uncanny ability to anticipate movement, Rayton struck with precision and brutality, making it clear he wasn't there just to take part in the show. He was the show, but his fame went beyond expectations in August 2006, when he claimed the life of a spectator, a man around 50 years old who was watching the event. And that was only the beginning of his tragic tally. In 2008, during another event near Valencia, Rayton killed again, this time a young matador and also a spectator. The situation worsened years later when another intoxicated spectator jumped into the ring, only to be fatally attacked by Rayton, who didn't hesitate to defend the arena as his territory. Now you might be wondering, why even after 3 confirmed deaths, was this bull allowed to keep participating in bullfights? The answer, unfortunately, is simple. He sold tickets. Rayton became a true attraction, a living legend whose name guaranteed packed arenas, headlines, and profit. He was the bull everyone wanted to see, even if it was for all the wrong reasons. Rayton remains to this day one of the greatest symbols of the duality of bullfighting, tradition versus ethics, spectacle versus safety. And like it or not, his legacy lives on in the stories told about the killer bull who ruled the arenas of Spain. Number 17. Belgian Blue. Now I know what you're thinking, I really do. You're thinking, oh, that bull's not blue at all. And you'd be absolutely right. And so am I. That bull isn't blue in the slightest. It's just called that for several reasons, really. But unlike the last 2 examples I showed you, this bull wasn't bred for the combat arena at all. This is a different kind of bull, one that was bred purely for use as livestock, to produce a high-quality type of meat. What sets this unique bull apart from others is the kind of body it has, which allows it to become a premium product. Breeds like this one have an enhanced ability to convert feed into lean muscle thanks to something called double muscling, which results in meat with a lower fat content and increased tenderness. In the food industry, that can be a huge plus because it means a more refined product that can be consumed, processed, and prepared for other food products. Thank you. An adult bull weighs between 1,000 and 1,250 kilograms, standing about 1.4 to 1.5 meters at the withers. They're known for their good temperament, ease of calving, and adaptability to wherever they're raised. They're a solid breed of cattle, and that's why many people enjoy raising them. Number 16. Piemontese. As the great man once said, life finds a way, and in the case of the Piemontese breed, that was proven in a very special way. You see, this species wasn't created by man, it was shaped by nature itself. They come from the Piedmont region of Italy, where their ancestral breed found a place surrounded by the Alps, which offered them protection as they lived their lives. They became deeply accustomed to the area and managed to develop several adaptations that would later become quite popular. For example, remember that thing called double muscling? Well, that trait originally came from these cattle. When breeders discovered them while exploring Italy, they saw the potential these bulls had for crossbreeding with other species. The first Italian herd book was opened in 1887, and breeding programs were developed to improve the herd and eliminate harmful traits associated with double muscling. Now, as would later be discovered, there's actually a gene in animals that limits muscle growth after a certain point. But in these bulls, that gene doesn't work as it normally would because it mutated over time. That also meant the bulls could keep growing muscle. And so, double muscling became a defining feature. Another thing that makes this breed so special is that they don't eat much and are quite efficient to raise. So, when you combine that with the quality of meat they produce, it's easy to see why so many people value these bulls and others like them. And it's all thanks to how they developed over time and the mutations they picked up along the way. Number 15. Diamante, the unicorn bull. Diamante the unicorn bull was a bull that came into the world, and the reason he was called a unicorn is because he had a horn growing in the middle of his head instead of out to the sides. When you look at pictures of Diamante and his horn, you have to admit it's quite a unique look. Moreover, as you can see, it's the only horn this bull had, which makes it even stranger because bulls usually have 2 horns sticking out from the sides. Diamante might not have gotten the memo. So, how can we explain this kind of development? Well, to simplify, Diamante's genes decided to do something a little different from what a typical bull or its owner might expect. As we've seen before, mutations in animals can happen and affect them in strange ways. It's true that no one expected a bull to go from 2 horns to just 1, and right in the middle of the head, but sometimes that's just how things happen. And frankly, this is far from the weirdest mutation we've ever seen or heard of in animals. There have been animals born with multiple mouths, a single eye, and the wrong number of legs, and so on. So, just like humans can be born with peculiarities, there can be a bull like this if it's lucky enough to be a unicorn born in nature. Well, stranger things have happened. Number 14. The Belted Galloway. The standout feature of the belted Galloway is the distinctive white belt around its midsection. They're also polled, which means they're naturally hornless, quite different from any other bull you've seen so far, showing that nature isn't afraid to shake things up when it wants to. Ironically, because of this belt-like appearance, some people literally like to breed them just because of how they look. That's a bit surprising. I mean, after all, bulls are typically bred for sale and reproduction purposes, not because they blend well with the pasture, but hey, to each their own. And for those who like that idea, it should be noted that the belted Galloway is a very docile bull. They're easy to raise and aren't prone to running off when things go wrong. They were actually bred to endure tough conditions in Scotland, so just like the people of that nation, they're not afraid to face adversity and stand their ground. William Wallace would surely be proud of this bull. Number 13. Red Wolf. Now, I already like this bull because he's partly named after a wolf, and if you don't know, wolves are amazing, so we should be ashamed of how we've treated them over the years. However, this wasn't just a well-named bull. He was also a rodeo bull who didn't give anyone a break, no matter what their credentials were. During his second year in the PBR, in 1995, Red Wolf made a huge impression in Rancho Murrieta, California, when he threw down Heroes and Legend, Ring of Honor member and livestock director Cody Lambert in just 4.09 seconds. But that's not all. This bull was also known for having a certain style when he entered the arena. He knew he was special, and the rodeo competitors had to be at the top of their game if they dared to ride him. To that end, he threw off competitors until he was 12 years old, which is quite old for a bull, but that never slowed him down. Even after being forcibly retired, he lived 6 more years before passing away, and you can bet he wanted to keep throwing people off until the end. And that's one thing you can say about these rodeo bulls. They're made to be the cream of the crop, and no matter which one you face, if you're not careful, you'll end up flying. Number 12. The Beefmaster. I wonder what this bull was really made for because, let's face it, its name doesn't exactly scream special purpose, right? Not even close. Looks like we'll have to dig a little deeper to understand why this breed deserves such a beefy title. Jokes aside, the Beefmaster breed is quite a remarkable one, originating in Texas. What makes it stand out isn't the fact that it's just another hybrid between 2 types of cattle. Nope, this bull is a composite, which means several breeds were combined to create one super breed, a true all-rounder. But what truly sets the Beefmaster apart are the 6 essentials that form the foundation of its creation. These aren't just random traits thrown together, they're key attributes that breeders focused on: position, fertility, weight, conformation, hardiness, and milk production. That's right, they wanted a bull that could do it all. No pressure, right? And the real genius behind it all? Breeders specifically wanted a bull that could handle Texas heat, and if you've ever been there, you know that can be pretty brutal. It's not just about looking tough. This breed needed to endure the extremes and still produce results. And guess what? It delivered. The Beefmaster wasn't just about working hard. It was about working smart and producing great offspring. Over time, these traits were passed down, resulting in a hybrid that could thrive in various environments and provide consistently great results. That's why the Beefmaster is often referred to as the breed of profit. And let's face it, there are few things Texans appreciate more than a solid profit. Ironically, despite being a mix of multiple breeds, the Beefmaster doesn't have a standard color or appearance. Its uniqueness lies in its versatility, showing that for breeders, it's not about how it looks on the outside, it's what's on the inside that truly counts. Number 11. The Boran Bull. Now, considering all the crossbreeds we've seen so far, the ones that were carefully crafted by human breeders over decades, it might come as a surprise to learn that there are still a few purebred species out there that have been thriving on their own, without any human interference. And one such example is the Boran bull. This impressive bull hails from Ethiopia, and it hasn't changed much since its last genetic update back in 700 AD. Yep, you read that right. The Boran has been living, evolving, and thriving without any human tinkering for over 1,000 300 years. That's a pretty long time to go without anyone trying to spice things up, especially in today's world, where it seems everyone is trying to create something new out of the old. Now, here's where the irony kicks in. First, since it's been in Africa for so long, the boran has adapted in such a way that it's largely immune to many of the problems that can plague other cattle breeds, especially hybrids, like parasites or specific diseases. This makes the boran incredibly hardy and perfectly suited to the African environment. But wait, there's more. The second irony is that despite being a purebred, the boran is often used to create special hybrid breeds because its genetic vigor is far superior to the newer hybrid species that have been bred recently. Talk about a genetic powerhouse. And while some are satisfied with just keeping boran bulls for their own needs, many others are keen to breed them and sell the offspring to other ranchers. This way, they can create new hybrids and keep the cycle going. Ah, the glorious world of the cattle industry, where purebred bulls like the boran still reign supreme in their own way. Number 10. The Sultan. If you're familiar with the horse trade, you know that sometimes the most valuable animals were not just the fast and hardworking stallions or the ones with imposing appearances. What truly made them valuable was their genetic potential, the ability to produce even more impressive offspring. In many cases, the breeding fee became one of the most lucrative parts of the industry, especially when you owned a high-quality horse. Riders and horse owners recognized the value that a good animal could have, not just for its abilities, but for the genetic legacy it could pass on. Now, why am I talking about horses in content about bulls? Because surprisingly, the bull trade follows a very similar logic. A great example of this is the famous Indian bull known as the Sultan. This animal was highly revered, and its majesty impressed everyone around it. The Sultan was not just a strong and imposing bull, but also had exceptional genetics, which made it even more valuable. The owner of the Sultan could easily have sold the bull for a significant amount, but he chose to keep and breed it instead of selling it to third parties. This was not a simple buy and sell decision, but a true bet on the future, a choice that reflected not only the animal's value, but also the owner's reputation, who was so sure of the Sultan's genetic legacy that he decided to keep it under his care. And in reality, people were willing to pay not just for the animal itself, but for what it represented for the continuation of the bloodline. The Sultan became an icon, being taken all around the country to be showcased. It was a true spectacle to see that bull, and crowds would gather just to admire its presence. The owner, aware of the attraction the Sultan had, could have probably sold the bull for a very high price, but by keeping it with him, he was investing not just in a profitable business, but in something much deeper, a connection with the bloodline and the future of bulls. When you have such a remarkable animal, the decision to keep it or sell it goes beyond simple financial return. It's a matter of legacy and passion for what it represents. Number 9. The Gower Bull. Now, let's talk about one of the largest and most impressive bull species you may have had the pleasure of encountering. The Gower is undoubtedly the largest bovine in existence, and its presence is simply overwhelming. This bull is truly colossal, with a massive physical structure, as you can see in the image. And yes, it makes any other bull look small in comparison. Its impressive size is something any observer would surely notice. Personally, I wouldn't want to cross paths with this giant, not even for a second. But this is where the story of this bull takes a slightly sadder turn. Despite its impressive features and remarkable strength, the Gower is a species in serious danger of extinction. Populations of this species are declining, and most of the remaining Gower bulls now reside in India. In 2016, it was estimated that there were around 21,000 individuals of this species in the country, which is an alarmingly low number for an animal of such size. Now, while I can't say for certain what the exact number of Gower bulls is today, it's possible that number has slightly risen over the past 7 years. However, we're still dealing with a very small population. This situation reminds us of the enormous number of species around the world that are endangered, and how many of them are on the brink of extinction. The Gower is just one of many at risk of disappearing if we don't take steps to protect them. Therefore, the hope is that with the right efforts, we can save this majestic species and others facing a similar fate before it's too late to ensure their future. Let's hope that with awareness and action, we can make sure the Gower and many other species are not just a sad memory of what once existed. Number 8. The Parthenus Bull. Now, let's meet an impressive bull from France, known as the Parthenus. This animal is truly gigantic, standing nearly 2 meters tall and weighing an impressive 1,200 kilograms. Over the years, these bulls have played various important roles in France, being used both as draft animals and as producers of high-quality meat. In fact, the meat of the Parthenus is highly valued for its unique flavor and exceptional texture. If you travel through France, you're likely to encounter many of these bulls, as they are quite popular and widely recognized in the country. The Parthenus is also a breed of bulls with the double muscling gene, which means they have an even greater potential to increase their meat content. This gene helps improve both the quality and quantity of the meat these bulls produce, making their meat highly sought after in the market. But beyond their impressive build and meat quality, the Parthenus also stands out for its incredible resilience. These bulls have a remarkable ability to survive in a variety of climatic and environmental conditions, making them extremely versatile and valuable to the farmers and breeders who own them. When you combine a large, resilient bull with excellent tasting meat that can thrive in practically any environment, you have a true winner. It's no wonder the Parthenus is so admired in France. It offers everything a breeder could desire: strength, flavor, and adaptability. This bull has become a true benchmark in the country and continues to be a key player in French agriculture and meat production. Number 7. The South Devon. The South Devons are undoubtedly the largest cattle breed in the United Kingdom, and they stand out not only on the national scene, but also on the global stage. The UK rightfully takes pride in its contribution to world livestock with these impressive animals. One of the main reasons South Devons are so popular in the region is their ability to grow quickly. This factor makes them ideal for both draft work and the production of high-quality meat. After all, when an animal grows fast, the meat comes sooner, right? This is indeed one of the breed's biggest attractions. In the past, however, the South Devon was more valued for its milk production than for its meat. The South Devons were known for their high milk-producing capacity, with fairly substantial yields. Although meat has become a more relevant factor over the years, milk played a significant role in the history of this breed. In terms of appearance, South Devons can also be polled, which is a distinct characteristic of this breed. However, when they do have horns, they typically curve downward, which is not what many expect, as most bulls have horns that grow upward or to the sides. In any case, the South Devon continues to be one of the UK's great loves. With their versatility and adaptability, these bulls have secured their place on British farms, playing essential roles in agriculture and meat and milk production. They will continue to be used for many years as long as their usefulness remains valued. Number 6. The German Angus. Yes, it's a bull named Angus, so you already know what to expect, right? Yes, it's another breed focused on meat production, but with an interesting history and considerable work behind its development. The German Angus was created in the 1950s in Germany, resulting from the crossbreeding of the Aberdeen Angus and several native German cattle breeds, such as the German Black Pied, the Deutsche, and other breeds whose names are so complicated I prefer not to try pronouncing them. It was a considerable effort and a long process to achieve the breed we know today. Cattle breeding is actually a journey of trial and error, where patience and time play a key role until the desired result is reached. Sometimes the results make all the effort worthwhile, and that was the case with the German Angus. The goal of the breeding was to develop a hornless bull with a calm temperament and large size, as well as meat with a lower fat content than the pure Angus, while also achieving high milk yields. This balance of characteristics made the breed stand out not only in Germany, but also internationally. Although it was developed in Germany, the German Angus gained popularity in the United States, where it is widely used in meat production. The breed's success, combining quality characteristics for both meat and milk, led to it being frequently exported to the US, where it became an important choice for breeders looking for high-performance cattle. Number 5. Texas Longhorn. Now, you might be wondering where this bull comes from. Well, with a name like Texas Longhorn, the answer is practically on the tip of your tongue, right? This is undoubtedly one of the most iconic symbols of the United States. Primarily bred for its meat, the Texas Longhorn is a breed that has won over American farmers over the years, and for good reasons. But, like any other cattle, Longhorns are not perfect and have their drawbacks. One of the main issues is that they have slower growth, meaning they take longer to mature and, consequently, to be prepared for slaughter. delta. This can be a challenge for those looking for quicker results. On the other hand, those who decide to raise longhorns will find several benefits that make up for the extra waiting time. These bulls are naturally resistant to many diseases and parasites that affect common cattle, including the screwworm fly, which is one of the biggest threats to pasture cattle. This makes the Texas Longhorn a very attractive option for breeders looking for healthier cattle that are less prone to sanitary issues. Another incredible advantage of this breed is its diverse diet. These bulls are known to feed on a wide variety of grasses, allowing farmers to keep them in smaller, less fertile areas, something that not all cattle can do. This helps producers optimize their space and increase the efficiency of their farms. Moreover, the meat of the Texas Longhorn is highly prized, with a distinctive flavor that has made it famous. So much so that in the United States, you can find specialty restaurants that have even named their establishments after the breed. This is not just a marketing move. The meat is really good, with a unique taste that attracts many enthusiasts. In the end, the Texas Longhorn is a sturdy, adaptable breed, highly valued both for the quality of its meat and the resilience it offers to breeders. It remains a popular choice nationwide and represents the resilient spirit of American cattle ranching. Number 4. The Lurch Bull. If you're in search of a truly rare bull, something that comes around once every 1,000 years, then you need to know about the Lurch Bull. Its name may remind you of the butler from the Addams Family, but unlike the fictional character, Lurch is not known for being excessively tall. Instead, what makes him unique is the fact that he holds the world record for the largest horn circumference in history. That's right, Lurch achieved this remarkable feat not once, but twice. He broke the record once, and before his death, his horns grew even more, becoming even more impressive. Believe it or not, his horns reached over 96 centimeters in circumference, which is absolutely incredible. To put this into perspective, that's over 96 centimeters of pure size, and when you measure the total length of his horns from tip to tip, the measurement reaches an astonishing 2.5 meters. This is not something you come across every day. The idea of being horned by this bull is terrifying, as if he had the intention to attack. The impact would be devastating, and you wouldn't have many chances of surviving. It's an important point to consider, and if you were caught in a confrontation with this bull, your luck would probably run out very quickly. However, as intimidating as his horns are, it's hard not to look at the Lurch Bull with a certain fascination. His horns are so large and impressive that he almost seems like an impossibility of nature. But as we know, sometimes the impossible really does happen. He is a perfect example of how nature can produce absolutely extraordinary phenomena, and Lurch is undoubtedly one of the most impressive and unique bulls that have ever existed. Number 3. The Nelore Bull. Now let's talk about the Nelore Bull, a breed with a fascinating history and a lineage that dates back over 2,000 years. The ancestors of this breed were brought to India by the Aryan peoples, and later the Nelore was introduced to Brazil, where it adapted with great success. Over the centuries, this bull has become an important and highly valued breed in various regions, both for its unique appearance and its abilities and characteristics. Nelores are known for their long, deep bodies, which feature clear, defined lines. These characteristics are not just aesthetic. They help keep the more vulnerable parts of the body, like the belly, away from infections and other health problems. This body structure is one of the reasons why Nelores are so easy to raise and care for. They adapt well to various environments and require less maintenance than many other breeds, making them a popular choice among cattle breeders over the years. The ease with which they are raised and their resistance to diseases have contributed to their spread in different parts of the world. Oh, and yes, you probably noticed that hump on their back. It may seem like a peculiar trait, but believe it, it's entirely intentional. The Nelore, like many Asian cattle breeds, has this hump, which is a distinctive feature and doesn't seem to bother the animal at all. In fact, they even seem to take pride in it, and this hump has become a symbol of their unique lineage. In short, the Nelore Bull is an excellent example of how a breed can stand out not only for its history, but also for its functionality and adaptability over the centuries. Number 2. Humphrey. As everyone knows, there will always be something that stands out, whether it's the biggest, the most impressive, or the one that everyone wants to have. However, there is also the smallest of something, and in the case of bulls, the smallest of them all is undoubtedly the famous Humphrey. He is a miniature zebu, a breed known for its small size, and Humphrey is the perfect example of how size isn't everything. Despite being a bull, he is incredibly small, which makes him stand out among all the other bulls you've seen. At just 106 centimeters tall, Humphrey is tiny compared to the giants we mentioned earlier. It's a height that really catches your attention and defies expectations about the size of a bull. But curiously, the smallest cow in the world is actually even shorter than Humphrey. Still, for Humphrey's owners, size has never been a problem. In fact, what really matters to them is the charming personality and charisma of this little bull. Humphrey has won the hearts of many, and his diminutive size has only made him more adorable in the eyes of his admirers. Although he isn't the biggest or most imposing bull, Humphrey proves that size doesn't define an animal's worth. Instead, it's his unique qualities and charm that have made him one of the most beloved bulls in the world. To those who know him, he is as valuable as any giant bull, and his small size only increases the affection people have for him. Number 1. The yak. Probably most of you have heard of the yak, a fascinating species that is widely known for its presence in Tibet and other mountainous regions of the Himalayas. The yak is a robust and impressive animal, with a bulky, muscular body, strong legs, and rounded hooves, all adapted to withstand the harsh conditions of its habitat. Its dense, long coat helps it survive the extremely low temperatures at the high altitudes where it lives. These characteristics are essential for the yak's survival, allowing it to handle the severe weather and the rugged, icy terrain. These animals are also highly useful to humans in mountainous regions, performing tasks that humans could not carry out in such extreme conditions. The yak has been used for centuries as a pack animal, transporting goods and supplies across difficult terrain where other animals couldn't pass. Furthermore, some yaks grow so large that they could easily knock a person over with little effort, making them even more imposing. When you see a yak up close, the sense of respect for its strength and endurance is immediate. And while yaks can be incredible workers and pack animals, they also have a wild side that requires caution. In other words, you definitely wouldn't want to challenge or provoke a yak, as due to its size and strength, it could easily defend itself and even cause significant harm. So, when we talk about the realm of bulls and other large creatures, remember that the yak is one of the most formidable, and the respect for it is something no one should underestimate. It's not an exaggeration, it's the pure truth. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed our content, make sure to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Don't forget to check out other interesting content appearing on your screen right now, and I'll see you in the next video. See you next time.